GOP presidential candidate and entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy talked about his policy differences with former President Trump in an interview Thursday. I think we're deeply aligned on policy 90+% of the way, Ramaswamy said on Fox News. There are some small differences. I would rescind affirmative action. I would militarize the southern border instead of just building the wall. I would shut down the U.S. Department of Education, not just put a good person, former Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, on top to reform it. Ramaswamy has effusively praised Trump throughout his campaign, promising to pardon the former president of any potential convictions on his first day in the White House. Fox News host pressed Ramaswamy on whether there would be any daylight between him and Trump. We have some of our areas of differences, but they are small, Ramaswamy said, adding that he and Trump were the two America First candidates in the race. I think we have an opportunity to reunite this country around our shared beliefs, and that will allow me to take the America First agenda even further than Donald Trump did by building on what I think is a very good foundation that he laid, he added. And so the fact that I'm not running against him, that doesn't mean anything. I'm running for this country. Trump has praised Ramaswamy as well, saying he'd be a very good vice president. Interview with Glenn Beck on his show on Blaze TV, Trump said he has good energy. He's a smart guy. He's a young guy. He's got a lot of talent. He's very, very, very intelligent person, Trump said. Oh man, there's a lot to pick apart here. Now, I think whenever somebody runs in a race against another candidate or a person that they may like or otherwise have been satisfied with to some extent or another, you're already doing yourself a disservice by running against someone that you would say you like. And when you're trying to run and you actually want to be victorious, you need to have something you can carve out for yourself that makes you distinct. So when Ramaswamy says, I think we're deeply aligned on policy 90+% of the way, it's like, well, you're kind of screwing yourself because you're admitting that you're not that much different from him. So why would somebody vote for you over him? To go and break this down piece by piece, because there's one part I really want to get into. He says, I would rescind affirmative action. Okay, the Supreme Court's already done that, so we don't need you for that. I would militarize the southern border instead of just building the wall. Well, Trump's immigration policy didn't even include the actual completion of the wall. Um, in fact, we had to shut down over it during, what was it, the 2018, shortly before 2018 midterm. So would you seek to complete construction of the wall? Would you? And I've already said before, the Democrats are not the friends of illegal immigrants. Obama deported more illegal immigrants than any American president before him, actually. And under Biden, ICE has been kept in place. So this idea of the Democrats being these rampant allies of the illegal immigrants invading it's just a concoction by Fox and the rest of these lying conservative outlets. Now, this is the one I really want to go over. I would shut down the U.S. Department of Education, not just put a good person, former Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, on top to reform it. Listen, DeVos. So Trump had some people he nominated that I thought were okay. In particular, James Mattis as defense secretary. In fact, I think he was at one point the most popular member of Trump's cabinet because he was a nonpartisan guy who had a lot of experience in the military beforehand. But DeVos was a lady with no experience as an educator who really just got the job because she gave Republicans lots of money. Now, the purpose of the education department has always been, since President Carter created it, to take the issue of education and frame it up as something that is of such high importance that it deserves a cabinet position for it specifically. In the same way that foreign policy is in the Secretary of State's position, in the same way that money is under the Secretary of Treasury, etc. And Ramaswamy's not the first person to run saying that he was going to abolish it. You can go and listen to Ramaswamy's public speeches and interviews, and I've listened to enough of them. The two presidents he quotes the most are Reagan and Trump. And both Reagan and Trump ran, at least during their successful first campaign, so 1980 for Reagan, 2016 for Trump, they both ran on abolishing the education department, and neither of those deranged dingbats actually did that when they took office. So you can say I'm being unfair to Ramaswamy. You can say, oh no, this time the Republican nominee, if it's him, which will actually do. But I don't believe him. I don't think anyone should. Republicans love saying they're going to get rid of some department. Then when they find out, oh damn, I can't get rid of it as easily as I thought it would, I could, or it's not a big priority to them, they don't do it. And I'm not upset that they don't do it. I just wish they would stop saying during their campaign, I will abolish this department, and then when they actually take office, they make no attempt whatsoever because they know that they don't have the votes or the procedures in place to actually get rid of it. So that's the biggest thing he said that I thought was goofy. Just because, like, and I already know his supporters. He's going to be the one that actually gets rid. But if even the two people that Ramaswamy loves more than anybody else, at least out of politicians, I should say, Reagan and Trump both promised we're going to get rid of the education department. 12 years in the White House between the two of them. No success whatsoever. And trust me, plenty of candidates like Rick Perry have, in the years in between 1980 and 2016 said they were going to get rid of it as well. They were liars too. Well, they didn't get the only difference is they didn't get the chance to show how much of liars they were. They just, said something that aligns itself with being a thing that conservatives like to say. We need to get rid of these government departments. And then when they actually get in office, totally different story. So the part of this I think is most interesting is where he says that he thinks he can take the America First agenda even further than Trump. Well, I still, for the life of me, can't figure out, and this isn't even about Ramaswamy anymore, but what exactly was the America First agenda? What did that entail? I mean, if you're talking about foreign policy, Trump didn't really differ himself from Obama all that much. He kept all 7 of his wars going. If you're talking about domestic issues, I guess you can say giving less people health care via repealing the individual mandate of the ACA was America First somehow. I know that Trump at one point, spoke very vociferously against NAFTA, but then he passed his own trade deal that shipped jobs from the U.S. to other countries. So I guess what I'm getting at is these little slogans are real cute, but I don't know. I don't think Ramaswamy would be under anywhere near as much investigation as Trump would, and I certainly think he'd probably be better at handling relations with Congress. But I just for the life of me can't see where a person who actually wants to win this race, who truly believes that they can defeat Trump, that they can get more votes than him, beat him in Iowa, beat him in New Hampshire, beat him anywhere, would admit that they have 90+% agreement with him on issues and defend him in pretty much at any degree. Because like I said, if I was him, Ramaswamy, I would say, hey, I'm not under 90 counts of investigation, so Biden can't say, don't put the criminal in the White House. I don't have the claim of saying we're not going to mess with Social Security and Medicare, but then when I'm president, you have multiple budget proposals by me specifically expressing a cut for those two programs. So there's a lot of stuff that Ramaswamy, if he were very serious about wanting to take out Trump, would say to distinguish himself in ways that I think would make him would benefit him among the voters. But like I said, this is a cult primary, and it's so weird seeing people being okay with playing second fiddle to a guy that is literally running against the same person that he lost to. I don't know. I think this whole thing is crazy. And I really wish that Ramaswamy would muster up some courage and say, look, I like Trump. I thought he was terrific. He called him the best president of the 21st century, which I still think is hilarious. But the best president of the 21st century. Okay, here are his faults. Here's why I don't think he can win a second term against the person that he was defeated by 4 years ago, etc., etc. I think if he did that, maybe he doesn't win the race, but I think he would get more support. I truly believe that. I think voters, look at Christie. This guy goes around talking about Trump. Again, they don't really disagree that much on policy, but Christie has criticized Trump more than anybody else in the race, and now he's at second place in New Hampshire. So there is something to be gained when you speak forcefully and make the case for your own candidacy. And I think that this will be Ramaswamy's downfall if he doesn't start criticizing Trump more, or at the very least in ways that are not as tongue bath like, and explain why he should be picked over the 45th president.